Hey, welcome back to the channel. You are listening to or watching Dr. Heather Williamson, your leadership doc. And I really want to talk to you today about that employee that is can be arrogant, can be a bully, a manipulator. He or she is that employee that is toxic to the overall effectiveness of your team. And it's so important to really recognize those behaviors that are coming from that employee and kind of what you're doing to not really stop it, but really just let it keep on going. It's not like you're encouraging it, but it's really you keep on going and not addressing it. And so it happens day in, day out. And eventually the sad thing that happens is that those employees that are fed up with it, and they see that you're not going to stand up and or do anything about it, they're going to leave. So I want to share with you really some of these things that this toxic employee does that really can destroy a team and really destroy the overall morale of your team as well. And so they are really utilizing their ability to manipulate. I mean, it's kind of a skill for them, and they're very good at it. And so they know, maybe who to flatter or who they can abuse just based on the relationships. If they're trying to get ahead or if they're just trying to make this person's life miserable. And they really turn this toxicity that they are doing and they can turn it on and off depending on the impression that they want to make with you as the boss. So you may not see any of this, but it is happening, let me tell you. So being aware that this toxicity happens, these are some of the things that you might be doing that really perpetuate the problem. And the sad thing is that your employees see this and they are so hoping that you're going to address it. But one of the things that you might be doing as a boss is you have an employee that comes to you and says, hey, this guy is just horrible to work with, and he is toxic to the culture of our team or to the unit, whatever. When you restructure his or her job to accommodate that toxic employee, you are encouraging that toxic employee's behavior. He or she is going to keep on doing it because they know that you may have made their life a little better and that nothing really they're not being held accountable. The second thing that you might be doing is you might be tolerating this toxic behavior that the employee is exhibiting just because they have an expertise that you need for the team and for the business. And the third thing that you might be doing is that you're not communicating to all the employees the specific, say that word 3 times, specific interpersonal behaviors that will not be tolerated. So you haven't set those boundaries up in the very beginning. And also, especially when you start seeing this toxic behavior from an employee, you're not addressing it and sharing with others these specific behaviors that are not going to be accepted anymore. And so when you don't do this, when you don't address those behaviors, then there are no consequences associated with them. And then finally, the fourth thing is that you're not assertively seeking feedback really from your employees as well. Because if you were seeking feedback on a consistent basis, you would know that this was going on. And if you are seeking feedback and they're telling you and then you still don't do anything, then I would just say shame on you as a leader and a boss to those employees because you're making their life miserable. There is, just an FYI, there is an assessment called a 360 evaluation that if you think something might be happening and maybe you've asked your employees, but they haven't really shared anything with you for fear maybe of retribution themselves, then always utilize assessments that are out there. And I personally love the 360 assessment because you will get feedback from your direct reports, from coworkers, and from other people that you might want to give that assessment to. And except for, if you have a supervisor, if you're in a larger organization and you have a supervisor, you kind of know who that person is. But you're giving it to multiple people and it's all anonymous. So if you are interested in learning more about a 360 evaluation to ensure that your team is, and you personally are being the best leader that you can be, then feel free to reach out at Dr. Heather at transformationgroupllc.com. And you can always go back to my website at transformationgroupllc.com. So just to recap real quick, the 4 things that you might be doing as a boss that is encouraging or not addressing things as you should with regard to toxic employees is when you restructure his or her job so you're accommodating that toxic employee. The second is tolerating those toxic behaviors because they have a valued expertise that you might need. The third is not communicating to employees what your expectations are as regard to behaviors that are acceptable. And then the fourth is not seeking out from your employees information that will help you identify, what's not working right within your team. So if you like this video, like the button below. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and I will catch you next time. So go out and be that boss that your employees want to work for. Bye. In this video, these leadership tips and strategies are sponsored by my company, Transformation Group. And in my company, I work with leaders just like you through individual leadership coaching sessions. And in these 1-hour sessions, we talk about strategies to help you develop the skills to overcome performance challenges. Whether that involves learning how to hold your employees accountable, delegating and empowering employees more effectively, spending time on tasks that really matter to your business, or communicating expectations consistently, or even better, lowering your stress. If this sounds like something you might be interested in, then there's an email address below in the description box of this video. So send me an email and we can then discuss if I'm the right fit for you. Until the next video, have a great day.